your son Hunter is on trial, and I know that you cannot speak about an ongoing federal prosecution. But let me ask you, will you accept the jury's outcome, their verdict, no matter what it is?
Yes.
And have you ruled out a pardon for your son?
Yes.
President Biden claiming he will not pardon his son, Hunter, if he's convicted on gun-related charges, and that he will accept whatever a jury decides. Joining us now to discuss this and more headlines on the Hill is Washington insider Armstrong Williams. Good morning to you, sir. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
You know, if you can't pardon your own son, who can you pardon? What did you make of this? Even as a father yourself, you have a son. What did you think about this?
I absolutely believe him. Given the situation of what happened with Trump in New York, Biden would place himself in a precarious situation if he were thinking otherwise.
And legal experts say he does have home field advantage, given that this is also happening in a Delaware courtroom. Do you think we will see a conviction?
Very possible, after his daughter Naomi testified, trying to make her father appear stable, and ended up showing that he was erratic by her text messages. And the defense pulled Biden's brother, James, from testifying. I mean, it was a disaster.
I want to talk to you also about what happened in Israel over the weekend. Defense forces, of course, were able to rescue at least 4 Israeli hostages, 3 of whom were being held by a journalist that was once employed as a freelancer and had a column in Al Jazeera. Now, Al Jazeera says he was never an employee, but he did write a bunch of stories covering the deaths of Palestinians for the Palestine Chronicle, which is based in Washington state. So Armstrong, a journalist who was writing articles critical of Israel, was holding 3 Israeli hostages.
Obviously, Jan, it could be possible that the only reason they're alive today is because they were in his home. Of course, he was conflicted. It'll be interesting to see what the hostages have to say about their treatment with him. It's a very complicated situation over there. You have so many different loyalties, and obviously he was killed in the process. We have no idea whether his family members were killed. But I got to tell you, that's a very tough situation to communicate on until we hear from the hostages themselves.
Yeah. I'm curious when they start to talk about what their life was like in captivity for the past 8 months there, and an emotional reunion there to see them with all their families. After a crushing loss, France's President Macron has dissolved the French parliament and calls for this snap election because of his party's huge defeat by the far right. What did you make of this?
Well, Marie Le Pen has worked on herself. She's more reasonable. I mean, he lost twice the votes that he thought he would lose, Jan. And then also Germany, Greece, Poland, and Spain, and even Hungary. Huge losses. I mean, it's a shifting of power in policy in Europe. It's very similar to what's going on in the United States. We often focus on the presidential election, but there could be a major shift in local, statewide election, gubernatorial, and the Senate and the Congress. So obviously they don't like the policies. The migrants are taking over. The invasion continues. People believe that the country, they put them last over minorities and their special interests, and people are fighting back. They like to call it right wing, but people say they want to elect people that's going to work, who are going to put Europeans first.
Washington insider Armstrong Williams, always great to see you on a Monday. Hope you have a great week. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Jan.